Hey, it's Medium Jenny Lee, and I'm here with Woo Woo Book Review number 13. Today we are looking at Many Lives, Many Masters, the classic that so many people know and has changed so many people's lives by Brian Weiss. I think I'm saying his name right. Let's get into it. I read this book quite some time ago, and I just had to spend about 10 minutes looking back through it because I was trying to remember my experience with reading it. So if you're not familiar with Many Lives, Many Masters, it is the true story of a prominent psychiatrist, his young patient, and the past life therapy that changed both their lives. So this book was originally written in 1988. So it's been around for quite some time. 1988 is the original first copyright. And what happens is that Brian Weiss, or Weiss, I'm not sure which way to say it. I probably could have looked it up, but I didn't. He is a very prominent psychiatrist. He's the typical everyday doctor, logical thinking. And he has this client coming in for therapy who completely changes his whole life and belief system. So she comes in and she's a freaking mess. She has terrible relationship with a man who, if I remember correctly, was married. And she's a hot mess. So they start going into therapy and hypnosis therapy. And all of a sudden, she starts recounting all of these past life instances. And I believe at first that the doctor is very confused and he doesn't know what to think of it. But over time, he finds that the things that she's saying and what they're working through with each of these sessions begins to completely change the woman and how she thinks and behaves, to the point where she ends up being completely cured. However, there's some other interesting stuff that comes along in these sessions other than past life information. Something that he calls the poet master. And it's this different energy, this different voice, this different way of speaking comes through towards the end of the sessions and gives him information about himself and his life and wisdom and knowledge that there's no way that this client that he has can possibly know. So that's the kind of thing that really starts to change his opinion. And throughout the book, there's really interesting information about the past lives of his client. And there's really wonderful insights into what the master that comes through tells Mr. Weiss or Weiss. I enjoyed this book because I love past life stuff. If I remember correctly, as I was reading it, and I was coming to the end of it, and the conclusion that I had about it was that, to me, there wasn't a lot of information in here that I didn't already know because of my own work with spirit and past life stuff. But for this book coming out in the 80s, I'm sure it was pretty mind-blowing and mind-boggling to most people. And it's still a book that is absolutely beloved and cherished by many, many, many people. Woo-woo world or not. Brian Weiss went on to write a whole bunch more books about this information and his experiences further. There's a couple of them in the back, Through Time and Into Healing and Same Soul, Many Bodies. I have not read those. I would be interested to read them. But this is the only book of his that I've read so far. There's a lot of parallels to the way that these sessions unfold in the real life and times of this doctor and his patient, but also through the book and the way that it's written and described. It has a lot of parallels to QHHT, the quantum healing hypnosis therapy that Dolores Cannon created, and I absolutely am obsessed with listening to people's sessions of QHHT. It starts with that past life information, and then it goes into higher self information, which I wonder if the poet master that's coming through during these sessions was higher self for the patient, or if it was that she was channeling some other entity. I don't know that that's ever talked about or explained or questioned in this book. There might be something in the afterword, but I'm not sure, because he really just looks at it as this wise, intelligent person, and he refers to them as a poet master. But I'm wondering if it was really her higher self. There is some interesting stuff that comes up about the relationship between the patient and the doctor, but I won't give it away if you've never read it before. No spoilers. No spoilers. So, in conclusion, this book is, as you can see, it's not terribly long. Let's see. This version of it is written later with an afterword. There you go. 2008. There's an afterword. So it's been 20 years since he wrote the original book. So that's the version that I have. But this version is 220 pages. So it's a pretty short, quick read. It's a very easy read. There's nothing in it that's overly complicated or confusing. It's really just going through those past life experiences and the information that comes through from the master and his take on it and his trying to understand it and what happens to the patient through the process. So I highly recommend Many Lives, Many Masters. I know it's very much loved and adored ever since it came out. So if you've never read it before, I suggest picking it up or seeing if your local library has it, especially if you're interested in past life information. So that's been Woo Woo Book Review number 13. Thank you for watching. If you liked this, please don't forget to give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you've read Many Lives, Many Masters, let me know in the comments what you thought about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.